Okay. All right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Tazadar coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, that's edifying to the hope of the elect. But before I do that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety and much blessings to the occupant that's pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth in all truth and sincerity and diligence. All right, man. The big topic is, World War III. Because that's, it's on the horizon, like, knocking at the front door, man. But it's all according to prophecy. Things that are written aforetime were written for our learning. All right, because when we see these things happening, we know what, that the Lord is on his way. He's about to come crack those clouds and deliver who is hopefully elect. Okay, because here it is, you got the rumors of war, is speaking loud, with, chiefly with, Russia and, United States of America, because you got all this confliction, over there in Ukraine, so, but still at the same time, these are two Edomite powers, okay? So, and what did the Lord say? Real quick, let's see if my screen is showing. Probably gonna cancel out anyway. Yeah, it's showing. Okay. So, when you go to Isaiah, the 19th chapter, it says what? It says, the 19th chapter, second verse, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and the modern day Egyptians are these Edomites. Okay, all right. So the Lord says, I'm gonna set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. So, you got Russia, which is an Edomite power. You got America, which is Edomite power. And these are the modern day Egyptians. Because we're in the land of Egypt. Spiritually known as Egypt. And the Egyptians are in power spiritually. It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brethren, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. You see? So you're gonna have, you're gonna have, two Edomite powers going at it, man. Because of the confliction. Well, chiefly is because of, Yahweh. But you're gonna have, these two Edomite powers going at it. And what's chiefly gonna happen? This is Matthew. Salaki. That's not the one I want. Yeah. Check it out. This is Matthew 12 and 25. It says, and Yahweh knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. You see? And right now, it's who's in rulership? These devils. Okay? The Edomites, they're in rulership right now. But however, they're warring against each other. You see? And this is all according to prophecy. So a kingdom, which is who right now? Esau, Edom, divided against itself. Russia, America, which is written in the scriptures of what's going to go down. The war of all wars, which is World War III. It says every kingdom divided against itself, so like every kingdom divided against itself shall be brought to desolation. And that's exactly what's going to happen here in America, So I got a clip that I was, looking at, and I want to, just share. So, get some precepts. Hopefully, it'll edify the flock. So let me see if I can, oh no, right there. All right, yeah.
I would not rule out military action. Military action could mean that we stand off with our ships in the Black Sea and we rain destruction on Russian military capability. We don't rule out first use nuclear action.
Such statements are irresponsible. Whose interests does the senator promote when calling for war? The Ukrainians or the US military industry? Joking about nuclear weapons is not appropriate for an American politician working at the US legislative body.
Alright, you see, I just wanted to play through for a little while, and then I'm gonna touch on some pointers. Check it out.
Military action. Military action could mean that we stand off with our ships in the Black Sea and we rain destruction on Russian military capability. We don't rule out first use nuclear action.
See, he was saying, we'll stand off our ships and rain nuclear destruction on Russian military. All right, is that not war words? Is that not like war cries right there? You know, because when you're dealing with Matthew, let's see, Matthew the 24th chapter. It says, it says, it's Matthew 24 and 26. Well, I'm gonna just start to get the context. It says, all right, this is Matthew 24 and 3. It says, as he sat up on Mount Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the signs of thy coming? And what shall be the end of the world? All right, so what shall be the end of the world? See that world right there? That's an eon. That's eon. You see? Which means what? A time period or an age. Okay? Look. Eon.
Strong's G165. Ion.
Well, I probably said it wrong, but But it says, see? Forever, an unbroken age, perpetual of time, eternity, the world's, the universe, period of time, age. You see? And that's how you got more than one world. So that's why, when Christians come up with the John 3:16, we just, cut them asunder. But it says, what shall be the end of the world? And so it's written in the place, let's see. When you go to Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 6, it says, I did consider these things, and they all were made through me alone and through none other. But by me also shall they be ended, and by none other. Then said I, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it there follow? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac. When Jacob and Esau was born, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. So Esau is the end of the world, right? Esau is the end of the world, which would be what? These two Edomite power structures here, okay? It says, and Yahushua answered, and said, well, back in Matthew 24 and 4, it says, and Yahushua answered and said unto him, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. You see? wars and rumors of war. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. And these things are happening. These things are really happening, man. These prophecies are speaking, loud and clear, man. You see what we just saw here. Check this out. I'm gonna run it back. And the reason why this is so prophetic, because this is written in the scriptures here. Okay? That's why you can't get around this. Check it out.
Destruction and we stand off with our ships in the Black Sea, and we rain destruction on Russian military capability. We don't rule out first use nuclear.
All right, you see now, what's all the plex, right? What's all the plex? Like, what's making why is this going on like this? It's because Ukraine, all right? Russia be bullying Ukraine, all right? And so Ukraine wants to become what? A part of NATO, all right? But Russia like, hell nah, because Russia right now is trying to do what? Build back that, because the Lord said, what, I'm going to put them hooks in your jaws, you know what I'm saying? And bring you back what? To that old Soviet Union. So what? Russia is building back all them Soviet Union landmasses. But what's the problem? Ukraine, because Ukraine is not a part of the Soviet Union anymore, because Ukraine got its independence in 1991, right here. I got this article I looked it up right here. You can look it up yourself too. But it says independent Ukraine. The population of Ukraine voted overwhelmingly of independence in the referendum of December the 1st, 1991. About 84% of eligible voters turned out for the referendum, and about 90% of them endorsed independence. And an election coinciding with the referendum kicking my ass. Kravchuk was chosen as president. By this time, several important developments had taken place in Ukraine, including the dissolution of the Communist Party and the development under the newly appointed Minister of Defense, Konstantin Morozov, of the infrastructure for separate Ukrainian armed forces. Ukraine also had withstood political pressure from Moscow. You see right now, Moscow is doing what? The same thing, kicking up that dust, man. Kicking up dust with Ukraine. It says, Ukraine had also withstood political pressure from Moscow to reconsider its course towards the independence and enter into the restructured Soviet Union. You see, a week after independence, referendum, the leaders of Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus agreed to establish the Commonwealth of Independent States. Shortly thereafter, the USSR was formally disbanded. All right, and that's whenever Ukraine got its independence. All right, but right now, that's the issue, because the Lord did what? When you read the scriptures, Ezekiel 38. I'm going to start at 1. And this is Ezekiel 38:1. It says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. Now, Gog and Magog, that's Russia in the scriptures. Okay? Because when you go get a old map, ancient map, that's where you see, like, all up here, that area, that's what's called Gog and Magog in ancient pastime, which is known as today is Russia. All right, and who's inhabiting that? Edomites, man. Okay, because when you read what the book of real quick, book of Revelations, the 13th chapter. It says, let's see. Was that it? Yeah. It's Revelation 13:2. It says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which represents Alexander the Creep, okay? Alexander the Greek, and his feet were like the feet unto a bear. That represents Russia right there, and it's likened it to the feet because that's going to be the end of the Edomite power structure, okay? It's talking about this beast here. It says, in the mouth of it was like the mouth of a lion. That's talking about Britain. It says, and the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. All right, which these Edomites, they are empowered in the revised Rome, which is America. Okay, but however, you got these Russians, which are also Edomite powers. But the point was in the feet is likened unto a bear. And that's talking about these Russians. Okay, but yeah, see, Gog and Magog, see, that's that Russian landmass right there. Let me see, I had a better one. I don't know what I did with it. Or was this it? See, that's Russia. See, yeah. You see that landmass right there? All that landmass, that's Russia. Gog and Magog. Man. What you see right there. So that's who's inhabiting that land right now. So going back to the scriptures, it says, son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and bring thee forth. You see, I'm going to turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws. So the Lord said what? He's going to put those hooks in their jaws and bring them back to that old Soviet Union spirit. All right? Because America is what? Getting in in the way of, Ukraine and Russia, the Soviet Union, and Russia and Ukraine. So when America is getting involved with that, it pisses who off? Russia. So it's kicking up dust, man. In what way? And and that's World War III talk right there. You see, because we're gonna get to it. It says, in all thy armies, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all them that handling swords. And that great company is gonna be China, okay? Persia, which is Iran, all right? Because Persia was changed to Iran in 1935, I believe. And Ethiopia and Libya, and of course, Libya, is gonna be, with Russia because what America did to Libya, how it bombed Libya and what that is, 1986, I want to say, with Gaddafi. It says, and all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, in the house of Togarmah, of all the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. You see? But the point is that that's Russia, man. Russia, see, and this is according to prophecy right here. Because you got all this confliction going on amongst each other, at a high scale. Because Putin and Joe Biden, they sat down and had a 2-hour long, conversation. And demands was made and words were said. Because check this out. At the end of this video here, look. After this guy said what he said, here's a response. The ambassador of Russia. This is what they said.
Such statements are irresponsible. Whose interests does the senator promote when calling for war? The Ukrainians or the US military industry? Joking about nuclear weapons for an American politician working at the US legislative body.
And you see, and like, man, hey, look, don't play like that. You talking like that, but don't play like that. So you have tension right there already rising. You have tension rising, you know? And then you got, here it is, look, I want to check it out. You got this going on. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this article. I read it. It says, West, which is talking about America, you know, the NATO. It says West will never keep its word on admitting Ukraine into NATO, says Russian. Okay, Moscow, December 10th. This happened yesterday. It says the West will never keep its promise to admit Ukraine into NATO. Andrea Kartoplov, chairman of Defense Committee of Russian State Duma, lower Parliament House, said on Friday, commenting on a telephone conversation between President Joe Biden of the U.S. and Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. President Vladimir Putin said that we are bound to be concerned over the prospects of Ukraine's possible admission into NATO, since this would be followed by the deployment of military forces. Everyone sees that these red lines cannot be crossed, he stressed. So, I mean, you know, basically he's saying like, hey, bro, y'all trying to like we can't have this. We can't have Ukraine being, you know, basically indicted into NATO. We can't deal with that. You crossing lines right there. Okay? That's Reading, it says, according to Kartoplov, Ukraine's potential entry into NATO is inadmissible. And I went and looked this word up. This is what he said. Okay? Russia said the potential entry into NATO, Ukraine's potential entry into NATO is inadmissible. So we looked that word up, and it says, not acceptable as valid, not to be allowed or tolerated. You see, putting that hook in them jaws and bringing them back to that, you know what I'm saying, that Cold War spirit, you know. It says, and the West realized this because what? This is all according to prophecy, man. The Lord is doing what? Hey, He's mustered in the battle. Okay, that's what the scriptures say. Really quick, let's call it in the motherfucking. This is Isaiah 13. It says, this is Isaiah 13:4. It says, the noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, and tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered together. You see? And the Lord of hosts in Yahweh of hosts mustered the host of the battle. You see? And that's exactly what's going on right now. This is all according to prophecy. The Lord is mustering the battle up and getting it what? Just getting things stirred up, man. Getting tensions are rising between what? These two Edomite powers, man. These two, you know, big boy powers here, man. You know? Let's see where I was at with it. All right. So Russia said that's not to be tolerated. All right. And see, this is beautiful, man, because this is just, you know, it's just, how can you deny, you know, these scriptures? How can you say that these scriptures ain't real, man? How could you say just go ahead and live your life and it's a waste of time to be waiting on Yahweh Shah? When you got prophecy speaking and you need to get your shit right, you know, so you can be presented as a chaste virgin, you know? Crazy. It says, that is why the West won't fulfill its promises to Ukraine, just the way it has not kept its word in other countries. You see? Because America is full of shit. It says this is just more deception, and Ukraine should remember that. Ukraine should remember that. He noted, but this is according to the Lord, and this is how you know all this is. This is how you know all this is according to the Lord. Proverbs, real quick. This is Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. As the river of water, he turneth whithersoever he will. So the Lord is mustering up the battle. Like, there's no free will, man. This is according to prophecy, because the Lord is a man of his word, and he should not lie, All right, see, look, it says, that's why the West won't fulfill its promises to Ukraine, just the way it has not kept its word to other countries. This is just more deception, and Ukraine should remember that. He noted, you see, because America have a history of making treaties and breaking them, just like it did the Native American Indians. It made treaties, it made over 400 treaties and broke them. All right, this is documented histories. And what I went do is that I went go look up actual treaties that America broke. Check it out. Right here. It says the future of the crucial nuclear arms control treaty, first signed in 2010 between President Barack Obama and the Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, was uncertain after Trump refused to talk about its extension, demanding China also join the treaty. China refused to be part of any such deal. The treaty capped the number of nuclear warheads at 1550 for both Russia and US, and also restricts the kind of deployment of nuclear warheads both the countries. If not extended, the treaty will expire on February 5th next year. The one-year extension will give both countries enough time to discuss the future of the deal. As per treaty, both countries can extend the treaty for a maximum of 5 years without ratification from the Congress. The U.S. had rejected the offer made by Russia last week to extend the treaty for 1 year, demanding that the latter announces a freeze on the number of warheads as well. Russia agreed to do the same, provided that the U.S. should not put any other conditions. You see, because, bro, this is the Lord, bro. The Lord moving to have these devils, to go according to what? Prophecy, to get prideful, man, It says, It says New START, or START 2, is the last remaining major arms control treaty between Russia and the U.S. after the Trump administration pulled out the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty last year and the Open Sky Treaty. So I looked up the Open Sky Treaty. That's what take surveillances, of, the opponent's, military base, which would be Russia, and anybody else. Look, right here. When you go to Wikipedia, I'm tripping. What is this? The Treaty on Open Skies. It says established a program of an unarmed aerial surveillance flights over the entire territory of its participants. But this is the same treaty. So this is the same treaty. Oh shit. This is the same treaty that America broke earlier this year. Former President George Bush had pulled out the Interballistic Missile Treaty in 2002. You see, it's feared that the demise of these treaties will lead to a nuclear arms race in the world, increasing the threats of nuclear meltdown. And this is exactly according to prophecy, bro. Because you have these Edomites, in power right now, and he's the father of lies, so he make treaties and break them. He has a history of what? Deceiving, lying, backbiting, sowing wickedness. So the Lord is using the so-called white man's characteristics against him. You see? And the tension is steady rising. Right? Okay? So I'm going to finish reading. It says, Biden spoke over the phone with Zelensky for nearly 90 minutes on Thursday. One of the central topics was the peace process in Donbass and Washington's assistance in the event of aggression against Ukraine. They also touched upon anti-Russian sanctions and Ukraine's potential membership in NATO. So, you know, if NATO, I mean, if Ukraine become, fall in line with NATO, hey, then it's gonna be some issues. There's gonna be some, some real issues. Cause check this out. This is what happened. NATO yesterday rejected Russia's call for West to withdraw its invitation to Ukraine to join the alliance. So we're gonna have a World War III around this joint, bro. Because what? These devils are prideful. NATO's relationship with Ukraine is going to be decided by the 30 NATO allies and Ukraine, no one else. See, that prideful spirit, like, motherfucker, this is America, you know? See, this is the Lord mustering up the battle, bro. And this is gonna do what? Piss that, Russia off, man, with them hooks in them jaws to destroy this joint. Because when you check it out, when you read Revelations 20th chapter, it says what? It says, this is Revelation 20:8, and shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four, and this is talking about the so-called white man, shall go out and deceive the nations in the four quarter of the earth. And that's exactly what he did. He went and deceived the nations at the four corners of the earth. Why? Because the image of the beast is speaking loudly, plain and clear. This devil is some wickedness in the four corners of the earth. Christianity is everywhere. His philosophies are everywhere. All right, but it says Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle. You see? So it's going to be a war with what? America and Russia. Babylon and Russia. You see? Babylon, which is known as America. You see? Right. Because it says what? It says Stoltenberg said at the joint news conference with Germany Chancellor Olaf Scholz, we cannot accept that Russia is trying to reestablish a system where big powers like Russia have spheres of influence where they can control or decide what other members can do. You see, because this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring back that old Soviet Union, okay? And Ukraine was once a part of that. You see? Check it out. This right here, that right there, look, right here, this is one. So that's Russia. Check it out. Where Ukraine is. 6. See? Ukraine was what? This is an ancient Soviet, this is a USSR map right here. An old USSR map. Ukraine was once part of that. And what? And if Ukraine get with NATO, that's blocking everything. That's going to do what? Piss Russia off. And then you're going to have, a whole bunch of things is conspire from that. But the point is that the Lord is mustering up the battle, man. And it's going to be World War III, bro. Because what did the Lord say? Noise. Fuse the battle. Fuel. This is Isaiah 95. It says, for every battle of warrior is with confused noise and garments rolling blood. Like that. With the sword, with the gun. Back in ancient past time, it was with the sword, and then you had the modern day gun. But this, check it out. It says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, which is gonna be what? Thermonuclear missiles. Because what your boy said, what he said. I don't think he was playing. I don't think he was bluffing. Look at his face.
Rule out first use nuclear action.
See? Hey, nuclear actions around here, man. And this is all in the scriptures. This is all foretold. What? For today, for our learning, man. Okay? Because what the scriptures say, this is Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and the third woe cometh quickly. What? Third World War. Okay? Because, hey, look, man, the Lord is getting things in order, man. All right? So how much more so we need to be in order? You know? Let's check it out. It says earlier Russia Foreign Ministry said that NATO should formally scrap the 2008 declaration opening the door to Georgia and Ukraine to former Soviet republicans. You see? Because, you know, the reason why it was Ronald Reagan, you know, Ronald Reagan and what the NATO and what they made like verbal agreements that they wouldn't do such things, you know. They wouldn't, you know, intrude on former Soviet republicans. But what they did, they went back on their word like they always do, because Esau has the former allies. All right, so that's what the anger is about. And here it is, you know, America is in the way, like always. Check it out. It says, in the fundamental interest of European security, it is necessary to officials disavow a derision of the 2008 NATO Beltray summit that Ukraine and Georgia will become NATO members, it said. Russian troops now occupy 2 breakaway regions in Georgia, and Moscow has annexed Ukraine's Crimea region while allegedly supporting separatist rebels in the neighboring Donbass. But see, that's what the point is, you know, he rejected Russia's call, you know. So this is tension, bro. You know, whatever come may make of it, whatever, because our ways are not like Yahweh's ways, you know. So whatever happens is what's gonna happen. But it's a third world war coming, you know. And you know the Lord gonna gather, you know, everybody in what the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he gonna plead, you know, with the heathen there, you know, according to the book of Joel. So, you know, let's see. So, Lord willing, this is edifying to the hope of the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, peace and safety, and much blessings to the icon that's pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth, and our truth to sincerity and diligence. Shalom.